Day at 6.
In South Africa, a party ends in death in a rare attack by blacks against whites. In this country, immigrants from Haiti, how many will be allowed in?
This is NBC Nightly News, reported by Garrett Utley.
Good evening. This was the scene in King Williamstown, South Africa. A country club, an integrated club. In the dining room, a wine-tasting party, a festive atmosphere. And then 5 men, blacks, burst in firing automatic weapons and hurling grenades. 4 whites were killed, 17 others, mostly whites, were injured in the attack. The gunmen escaped, and South Africa's government now is certain to face mounting pressure that it resist blacks' demands for political power. A report from Fergal Keane.
In the darkness, the dead and wounded are carried out. It took the gunmen less than a minute to stage their bloody attack. The results were devastating. Hand grenades were hurled into the dining room, followed by a storm of automatic rifle fire. Although such violence is part of everyday life in many black townships, it's the first time in many years that whites appear to have been targeted deliberately in such large numbers. The ANC president, Nelson Mandela, was addressing his own supporters today, and he appealed for an end to all violence, violence which he said threatened to destroy South Africa. But the ANC is likely to urge President de Klerk to resist what is certain to be a chorus of demands for a security crackdown in the wake of this attack. Fergal Keane for NBC News, Johannesburg.
Elsewhere in Africa, in Somalia, followers of one warlord there in that country of famine and anarchy marched through the capital of Mogadishu with signs calling UN forces on duty there bandits, pirates, and stooges. They also carried signs saying, "We welcome U.S. troops." President Bush has offered to send American troops to guarantee that food is distributed in Somalia. This afternoon, the President and Mrs. Bush returned to the White House from their Thanksgiving holiday in Maine. The President told reporters that details of the Somali plan are still being worked out. They will also require United Nations approval. Another question facing this president and the next one: refugees from Haiti. Today, 203 Haitians were picked up by the U.S. Coast Guard as they headed to the Florida coast in a wooden sailboat. The Bush policy has been to turn back all Haitian boats. Bill Clinton says Haitians claiming political persecution will get a chance for a fair hearing. That has triggered expectations among Haitians and concern in this country. Here's Noah Nelson in Miami.
The faces of people seeking freedom. This group of 62 Haitian refugees was smuggled in aboard a cargo ship, crammed into closet-like compartments. There are strong indications thousands of others are preparing to travel here any way they can. In Haiti's coastal towns, hundreds of small boats are under construction. The prospect of friendlier immigration policies under the Clinton administration is encouraging people to flee the poverty and political repression of Haiti.
I want somebody to treat me like a human being. So I can get me a job to help my kids and my wife, build me a little good house.
If thousands of Haitians do land and settle here, they will face tough times in an area still reeling from the effects of Hurricane Andrew and high unemployment. Most in Miami's Little Haiti doubt that the immigration will be as massive as the Cuban influx in 1980, but they are certain that the most desperate will attempt to come here. Miami Haitian leader Jacques Despinosa is warning them not to.
As a Haitian American, I don't want to be acting so irresponsible to tell people, yes, come in, when I know there will be no opportunities for them. There's no room, there's no housing, there's no schooling. I mean, it's,
Florida Senator Bob Graham says a Haitian exodus could plunge the area into a major economic crisis.
Certainly this community in the state of Florida is not able to play the role of the protector of thousands of boat people coming into this already hurricane-devastating community.
Many hope the Clinton administration will somehow solve the political crisis back in Haiti. But the overwhelming poverty there will not end overnight. Thousands may still look toward Miami for what they believe will be better lives. Noah Nelson, NBC News, Miami.
And as we cover our world this Sunday, we'll go next to Moscow, where Boris Yeltsin faces a crucial showdown with his opponents. And on Focus this evening, this is tax planning time. Jeff Madrigal offers some year-end financial advice.
Question: which of these two instant coffees looks darker?
This one is definitely darker.
This one.
The one on the right's darker.
Is darker better? What do you think?
Dark, rich, what's not to like? What kind is it?
Decaffeinated Folgers Crystals.
I like it.
Tastes rich.
That'll get me going.
It's made with mountain-grown beans, fresh brewed, then crystallized. Want to know what the other coffee is?
Excuse me?
Try decaffeinated Folgers Crystals. So dark and rich, shouldn't you switch?
The Remington microscreen shaves as close as a blade or your money back. 2 flexible screens let you shave whiskers below skin level. It's quick, smooth, comfortable. A great value. The Remington microscreen.
Congratulations. What do you say?
Chapstick medicated, please.
Introducing Chapstick Medicated, triple medicated. You can feel it working immediately. New Chapstick Medicated, triple medicated relief.
This is going to be a very tough week for Boris Yeltsin. Russia's economy is a shambles. People there are unhappy, and his opponents are gathering in Moscow to try to limit his power. And if that isn't enough, Russian air traffic controllers say they're going on strike. The question is, will the economic reforms Yeltsin is pushing continue, or slow down, or stop? In Moscow, Bob Abernathy.
Boris Yeltsin cheered by his supporters today at the start of this critical week. Across town, meanwhile, several hundred communists and others endured near zero temperatures to shout their opposition to Yeltsin. And tonight, 500 Siberian coal miners arrived in Moscow to show they're on Yeltsin's side. It's all part of the lobbying in preparation for Tuesday's reconvening of Russia's part-time but powerful Congress of People's Deputies. Elected 2 years ago, when there was still a Soviet Union, 86% of the deputies are former members of the Communist Party. Many of them, like millions of other Russians, are angry over the high prices and falling production that have accompanied free market reforms. The powerful leaders of Russia's biggest industries also demand that the pace of reform be slowed. They want more government subsidies, lower taxes, price controls, and new, more conservative government officials. But Yeltsin says he's compromised enough already and will stick with his reforms. Meanwhile, another potential problem for Yeltsin, Russia's new constitutional court, its equivalent of the U.S. Supreme Court, is scheduled to rule tomorrow on 2 politically charged cases. After last August's attempted coup, Yeltsin banned the Communist Party and seized its property. Did he act constitutionally? And was the party itself legal or illegal?
Whatever decision the court might take, it will be balanced with a lot of buts. And these buts will, if possible, pacify the situation to make it less explosive.
Yeltsin is expected to survive as president, whatever the court decides, but if it rules against him, that could strengthen all those in Congress who want to slow down Yeltsin's economic reforms and cut back his presidential powers. Bob Abernathy, NBC News, Moscow.
Now to the war between Serbs and Bosnians in what was Yugoslavia. As we know, there have been many ceasefire agreements broken and peace proposals which have failed. Today, another one from a man who won the Nobel Peace Prize. Elie Wiesel, a survivor of the concentration camps of World War II, visited Sarajevo. Here's Tom Aspel.
Elie Wiesel's proposal for a peace conference was rejected by President Alija Izetbegovic, who's been under siege with 400,000 of his people in Sarajevo for more than 7 months. Wiesel was taken on a tour of the city. Serbian forces have the Bosnian capital surrounded. Their artillery and mortars have been bombarding it from the mountains without let-up since the siege began. Sarajevo's people are facing a cold winter. There isn't enough electricity for heating, and winter temperatures here drop well below freezing. Few people are allowed to leave. The Bosnian government is insisting every able-bodied man stay to defend the city. Increasing numbers of children are making it out, though. Czechoslovakia issued visas for nearly 700 of them this weekend. They were taken through the Serbian lines in a convoy of buses. Many showed the effects of Sarajevo's suffering. While deliveries of food from United Nations relief agencies have kept the city from starving, health officials say children will need treatment to erase the images of violence they've witnessed.
It was terrible. They always said, Mama, I'm afraid, I want to die. Children have 4 years, want to die. It's terrible, but nobody can't explain it. You must feel it.
Only a few mothers were permitted to accompany the children. These are the lucky ones. Hundreds of children have died in this war, which has ripped apart the former Yugoslavia. Tom Aswell, NBC News, Kisiliak, Bosnia.
In Venezuela, President Carlos Andres Perez said today that he will not resign despite Friday's attempted coup and demands that he step down. Perez blamed the coup attempt on what he called, quote, military mafia and social rejects. At the same time, he acknowledged that he has failed to convince the Venezuelan people that his policies will help ease that country's terrible poverty. In this country, at Cape Canaveral, the countdown began today for Wednesday's launch of the shuttle Discovery on a secret military mission. The crew of 5, all military officers, arrived at the Cape today. This is the last scheduled military mission for a shuttle. The satellite being deployed reportedly will be watching Eastern Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, which means it may not be so secret after all. On assignment Earth tonight, the wonders of nature. When man gets involved, the results can be most unnatural or even embarrassing, especially in a place as beautiful as Yellowstone National Park, the home of Old Faithful. Roger O'Neill has the story of what happened when the park found it had one geyser too many.
A heavy block of concrete deflected the constant flow of boiling hot water and steam from the new geyser. 3 weeks ago, when it was first noticed, park officials knew it would have to be plugged, and the sooner the better. This was not a new wonder of nature, but a failure of man. A well scientists drilled into the park's geyser system 25 years ago to try to figure out how it worked failed. Located in an area known as Biscuit Basin, the unnatural geyser was draining water out of one of the most active geyser systems in the world.
If we allowed it to vent, eventually the features around here would lose their water level, lose their energy, and they would stop erupting.
Scientists said some nearby geysers had been affected, but there had been no noticeable change at Old Faithful, which was just 2 miles away. All of the commotion proved a bit embarrassing for the Park Service. There has been an ongoing concerted effort to get Congress to pass legislation which would ban any and all geothermal development within 15 miles of Yellowstone's boundaries. A leaky geyser inside the park caused by man forced officials to move fast to put a cork in it.
The Park Service is supposed to be protecting the natural resources, and it just didn't look good for this man-made leakage to occur while the park is saying that there shouldn't be exploitation of geothermal resources outside the park.
A New Age religious sect known as the Church Universal Triumphant says it wants to tap into some hot springs on its property, which is adjacent to Yellowstone's boundaries. Scientists disagree whether that would have any effect inside the park, but the Mammoth Hot Springs are located close by. There is considerable evidence around the world that geothermal development ruins geyser systems. Officials in Yellowstone say that's a chance they're not willing to take here. Roger O'Neill, NBC News.
And as we continue, some year-end financial ideas on how to save on taxes.
At Ford Motor Company, quality is more than just the way a car is built. It's the design of the instrument panel, the richness of the finish, the turn of a wheel, the safety of a loved one. It's the way your car or truck makes you feel. For us, our commitment to quality is an obsession.
And it's paying off. 5 of the 10 best-selling vehicles in America are built by Ford Motor Company.
Ford Motor Company, quality is job one. It's working.
When your sinus and nasal congestion feels this bad, what can you do? Last year, you wanted to call the doctor. Last year, you wanted a prescription. But this year, Tavis D in its full prescription strength is available without a prescription. Just 1 tablet helps relieve 12 hours worth of painful congestion and sneezing.
Guess what? I'll be there after all.
Tavis D. 1 tablet, 12 hours, and now no prescription.
It's a kick.
You got your vitamin A, your vitamin C. I like it because it has those beta-carotenes in it.
What's that word? Beta-carotenes.
It's zippy kind of thing, a zippy thing.
There's a certain itch that's so private, most people will only discuss it with their doctor. Fortunately, you can get Anusol HC1 ointment over the counter with the same prescription strength doctors have prescribed most.
On Focus this evening, the end of the year is an important time for financial planning, for finding ways to save on taxes before December 31st. Jeff Madrick is with us with some ideas. Jeff?
Well, Garrett, with the job market so uncertain these days, especially for white-collar workers, our first bit of advice is for job seekers. For one thing, job search expenses are tax-deductible as long as you are looking for a job in the same field you were working in. Expenses like toll calls to prospective employers, resumes, the cost of preparing and mailing them, and travel to job interviews. What is deductible is the amount you spend above 2% of this year's income. But you've got to have receipts. Now, many of the people who lost jobs in this recession are getting large lump sum severance or retirement packages. Handling those needs some planning, especially now, because the federal tax law is changing. Right now, you get the full lump sum, but starting January 1st, the government will withhold 20% of that money just in case you owe future income taxes on that lump sum. And you will owe taxes unless the money is reinvested into another retirement savings plan. So, how do you get to keep the full amount? Have your company reinvest that money for you. Don't do it yourself. The benefits experts at your company can explain the details. Generally, the federal government provides its best tax breaks for those who are saving for retirement. Keogh plans are for people who have their own businesses. But to get that tax break, it's got to be started by the end of this year. A Keogh allows you to contribute up to 13% of your annual income to a personal retirement fund, tax-free. Individual retirement accounts, IRAs, also save tax dollars, and many people are entitled to have them, even people who are also covered by company pension plans. In fact, 60% of full-time workers could qualify for tax deductions for IRA contributions. And finally, a reminder about the magic of compound interest, an example of how weekly savings can really add up. If a family puts away $25 a week, every week, for 20 years and earns 5% a year, it would have a nest egg of more than $44,000 at the end of those 20 years. And that 5% return is modest. It is more than savings accounts are paying, but there are plenty of safe long-term investments around that do pay more. Garrett?
Well, Jeff, we're talking about budgets, the importance of keeping budgets and financial planning. How detailed should they be?
Every financial planner tells you, write down what you spend every day. You will be surprised how much more you spend on a lunch, on those coffees, on magazines, on an extra gas tank.
And that's every day of the year, not just...
And how much you can save.
And not just the end of the year. New year coming January 1st, January 20th, a new president and administration. What signals are being sent in terms of possible changes in tax policy? Given
the federal deficit, I think they're pretty clear. If you're not rich and you're not a foreign corporation, you don't have too much to worry about in the near term. Taxes for those who make maybe $200,000 or more are going to go up. Taxes on foreign corporations will. On the other hand, because of that federal deficit, don't expect middle-class tax cuts. Down the road, we'll see what happens with the economy.
All right, Jeff Madrick, thank you very much. And next, we turn to sexual harassment in the workplace, when that place is Congress or state legislatures.
1847, Werner Siemens opens his first factory and begins to manufacture the world's most advanced telegraph. That was then. This is now. Today, Siemens has 60 factories all across America, with over 15,000 manufacturing people turning out an astonishing variety of high-tech electronic and electrical products with quality American industry can count on. Siemens, precision thinking.
Hi!
Can we see your Christmas tree?
My tree?
We heard about your tree. I heard about it. I want to see that tree.
Mister, can I watch your tree?
Watch? The tree, yeah.
Wow, it turns.
Bring your Christmas tree to life with Noma Ornimotion, the little motors that turn ornaments into crowd pleasers.
May I see your tree?
Ornimotion, another bright idea from the people at Noma.
There's a smart way to doctor a cough. Robitussin cough drops.
Try this, it works.
With an active ingredient that speeds soothing relief to your cough.
Try this, it works.
Robitussin cough drops from the cough experts.
Which of these fruits, ounce for ounce, has the most vitamins and minerals? That's right. The California prune.
Sweet, delicious California prunes. Find out how good they really are.
With steadfast stares, the people cry, brave future, new world. Time that goes by, the touch, the feel, the fabric of our lives. The touch, the feel of cotton, the fabric of our lives.
When the new U.S. Congress meets in Washington in January, there'll be a new look to it. More women. 4 more in the Senate, 19 more in the House. More women are also entering state legislatures across the country. What does this mean for what are largely male workplaces? Well, Francine Massio of Cornell University is a specialist on women and the workplace, and that includes Congress right now. Good evening. Thanks for being with us. We've heard this week the story of a U.S. Senator, Packwood of Oregon, allegations of sexual misconduct. He says his problem is alcoholism. Is this all a familiar pattern?
There's really no typical type of harasser. We know from our research and from several research studies that harassers lead exemplary lives except for incidents that take place in the workplace, and that a harasser is an older person than the victim. It's usually the person that's the same race as the victim and has some type of power over that person. So it's more, research has shown, an issue of power rather than an issue of substance abuse, so far as we know.
And the legislature, the Congress, is clearly a place of power. It has been a male bastion. What do you suggest that the new members, the women who are coming in, their senators and congresswomen, do when they walk into this predominantly male club in January?
Well, I would see that the new members, the female members of Congress and the Senate, can expect a harassment-free workplace. I think that it's the men in those male bastions that need to check their own behavior and to ensure that the type of behavior that might be business as usual is checked when women do enter an all-male environment. We know from research that sexual harassment occurs when women are in the minority and they are new members in an all-male dominated workplace.
We're not talking just about the members, but also about the legislative congressional staffs. You're consulting, advising the New York State Legislature. What do you tell the men there to do specifically as opposed to generalities?
Check your own behavior. Make sure that you use some type of yardstick. The intent of your behavior may be taken in a way that it's not intended. The impact is much more important to consider. You must consider how the individual is feeling about your making certain suggestions or social dating and so on. So there are yardsticks. We're going to educate the New York State Assembly on how to measure their behavior so that they know that the environment is free.
But do you also think this requires leadership from the top? The leaders in Congress are the ones who really have to act.
Yes, I think that the onus is on the leadership. The leadership can set the direction of where we go on this issue. They can also elevate the issue in the public eye and make sure that people understand that it's widespread and the largest form of sexual victimization.
And, of course, Congress will be not so much a male-only club come January. Francine Massio, thank you very much for being with us. And we'll be back in just a moment with some more news.
Because all pain is not the same.
Put the help where it hurts.
Now there's new aspirin-free Bayer Select. Yes, aspirin-free.
Put the help where it hurts. With Bayer Select.
Bayer Payer Select is not one, but 5 different aspirin-free formulas for sinus, headache, nighttime, menstrual, and arthritis pain relief. Because all pain is not the same.
What the hell when it hurt with Payer Select.
Do you love to exercise? I'm at one of the finest health spas and resorts going. I could enjoy a complete workout, sauna, massage, special Nautica spa diet. It's all right here. But what I really love about this health spa is that it goes everywhere I go. Take a 3, 4, or 7-day fun ship vacation on Carnival, the most popular cruise line in the world.
Mr. Coffee presents Potato Perfect. In about 25 minutes, it's making oven-baked potatoes, one very hot item. Potato Perfect by Mr. Coffee. What'll he think of next?
Just how big is the Ace Hardware really big sale? Really big. For a closer look at this great stuff, hurry into the Ace Hardware really big sale today.
The Remington microscreen shaves as close as a blade or your money back. Remington has diamond-honed cutting edges and 2 flexible, ultra-thin screens that stretch the skin and lift whiskers to let you shave below skin level. That's Remington.
This coming week, a trial will continue in Belleville, Illinois. It may not be making headline news, but it does raise a basic moral as well as legal issue. Who is responsible when a smoker gets lung cancer? The smoker or the cigarette company? The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that warning labels do not automatically shield tobacco companies from liability. Here's Mike Betcher.
Charles Cooper is dying of cancer. If he can convince a Belleville, Illinois jury that cigarette companies enticed him to smoke when he was 14 and persuaded him to keep smoking despite health warnings, then Cooper could be awarded $3 million and the tobacco companies could be facing the beginning of the end. In court, Cooper's attorney argued that cigarette manufacturers were part of a conspiracy based on human greed. Tobacco industry attorney Paul Christ countered that cigarette smoking is a matter of personal choice and personal responsibility.
Hey, it's nothing to do with me.
Down the street, in a bar called The Office, a person can do what he can't do in most offices, the courthouse included. A person can smoke. Here, everyone had a cigarette and an opinion.
Among smokers, I thought that there would be sympathy for this guy's case.
None at all.
No.
Not in this place. And it's your choice. You know, it's an American way. You want to drink, you can drink. I'm drinking water. They didn't prefer to drink. I'm drinking water, you know, smoking a cigarette.
It's been a while.
It's my choice.
Water
I can do what I want. I'm American.
He's setting a precedence. You know, if he gets by, whether the hell all the tobacco companies would be broke. They'd be out of business.
The bar patrons took another drag and considered the weighty implications of the hometown trial. Cigarette companies fighting for their lives, a man losing his, and a search
on New York City custodians who on average make $20,000 a year more than New York City school teachers. That prompted one viewer to write, "Send them back to school in Japan, where the children clean their own classrooms, including the windows." I'm Leslie Stahl. We'll be back next week with another edition of 60 Minutes.